Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss.
What's good, y'all? It's your big homie, the armchair operator, and today we're going to do a 1,000 round follow-up video to this beautiful specimen right here, the Smith Wesson M&P 2.0 Metal Frame Competitor. So, if you're new to the channel, not that long ago, I did a full breakdown plus first shots video of the Smith Wesson M&P 2.0 Competitor. I will drop a link to that particular video down in the pinned comments down below, so that way you can check it out. Right now, today, we're just going to do a 1,000 round follow-up video about the gun, give you my impressions after the 1,000 rounds of testing and my overall thoughts at this point. All right, so with all of that out of the way, let's dive into this thing. So the M&P 2.0 Metal Frame Competitor is essentially a upgraded M&P 2.0 metal frame standard model that's been tricked out a bit for competition use. So Smith & Wesson added some additional features to the slide and also the accessories and so on and so forth to take an already solid gun, which is more so for duty, maybe even concealed carry use, and make it race worthy. All right, so let's just go through the features really quick, right? But first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a clear check. All right, as you can see, the gun is clear, the magazine is empty, and it has lube on it because I just freshly cleaned it. And also, we are in a safe, controlled environment. Let's not forget that. There's no live ammunition anywhere in the review phase. All right, so let's talk about this gun. So in my earlier video, I did some like a quick overview of some of the differences between this and the standard model. So I'm just going to go through them really quickly. We're going to start with the sights here. So right here we have a tritium filled front fiber optic with a blacked out rear sight. So even though this has fiber optic front sights, it does have night sight ability. I mean, it does glow in the dark, so I really like that. Also, we have your lightning cuts in the slide here on both sides. Pretty aggressive texturing, really good. And also you have these window cuts in the top of the slide there. This is all basically to reduce the reciprocating mass of the slide itself. We have a 5-inch barrel, so that's important, right? You don't want it to have too much mass going back and forth because you'll definitely feel it. Nice little butler cut in the front, looking all very Terran Tactical-esque, right? We have our Picatinny rail underneath. We have some more aggressive slide serrations in the back here. Plus we have these ears here. It really makes racking the slide very easily. So it's really good. We have our optics cut, and per Smith & Wesson, like they normally do, they give us the optics plates right out of the box. So that's also really good. We have an ambidextrous slide catch / slide release, which is also pretty much standard. And we also have the newer upgraded trigger here with the trigger safety. So one thing about the trigger that I will say, it feels the same to me when I compare it to the standard M&P metal frame, which, if I'm honest, I was a little taken back by that. I originally thought that because this is a gun that's more so geared towards competition, that the trigger will feel somewhat different, but they basically feel the same to me. So, I mean, I could get a trigger gauge and then measure the poundage, but the reset and everything, like, it just feels like the same. It feels exactly the same to me. So, I mean, That's not to say that it's not a good trigger all. It is a good trigger. I just kind of felt like for a performance center gun, specifically a competition gun, it just needs that little that extra spice to it to really set it apart, in my opinion. You know, the M&P 10 millimeter performance center trigger in to me has a better reset. It's a little crisper and it's a little bit more forceful. I wish this had it. But anyway, moving on from there. We have our magazine release. So if you're not familiar with the metal the metal M&Ps, the magazine is reversible. Now, this particular gun comes with a raised magazine release out of the box. I replaced it with the standard magazine release. Reason being, if I wanted to hold and shoot this gun offhand, you see where my knuckle is right here? I don't know if you can see that, but that raised magazine release really digs into my finger. And it's very easy to inadvertently drop the magazine while shooting weak hands. So I just put the standard one in just to call it a day. It is actually very easy. There are instructions on how to do that online and also in the owner's manual too. It's really easy, I promise. But like I said, I'm not going to get into all that. Moving on from there, we have your standard M&P metal frame grip panel in the front. This is polymer and it has your standard 2.0 texturing, which I really like. And you have the back straps here with the palm swell. This is the large one. It comes with four: small, medium, large, and large. I like the large because I got the great big old hands and I can really grab and bear down on the gun. And we also have an aluminum mag well, which is actually really nice aluminum mag well, and it does come pre-installed. Now about the mag well here, first let's drop the magazine out. Oh, it also comes with 4 17-round magazines. Now, with the magazine well here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little latch right there. So you basically just flip that up so that it's running parallel to the muzzle of the gun right now, and then you pull it out and then you can just slide this guy off. You can run this gun without the mag well installed. However, with the mag well installed, you have to use the M&P magazines with these base plate with these different base plates. Now, even though it has a little bit of, it looks like it's extended, it's not. It's still a 17-round magazine. The reason for that is because of the magazine well. The standard base plates that come with the standard Smith Wesson 9mm base plates won't fit. There's simply not enough clearance in them. But if you take the magazine well off, you could run all the standard 17-round M&P series magazines with no problem. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking to get into this gun. Disassembly is the same, right? You got the lever right here, you rotate it down. You basically take it down like any other Smith & Wesson handgun. All right, so what do I think about this gun after 1,000 rounds? So for starters, I really like it. I really like it. It has quickly become one of my favorite guns. One thing that I have noticed about the competitor model is most of the work, I would actually go as far as to say a lot of the work that Smith & Wesson did is pretty much in the slide itself. So shooting this and the standard metal version side by side, the standard metal version does feel snappier, even though it's a 4.25-inch barrel, and a shorter slide. That slide is noticeably thicker than the 5-inch slide on the competitor model. And that's where all of this work, right? All of this stuff that Smith & Wesson did, to take off the extra material on the slide, the lightning cuts here and here, it really does reduce the reciprocating mass. And that's important because you have a thick, heavy slide going back and forth. What are you going to have? As the slide comes back, more muzzle rise. As the slide goes forward, it can drop it. And that's kind of the thing with some 5-inch guns, you know, if they have those thick slides, and some of my 1911 people can attest to that. When you have that heavy 5-inch slide going back, it can very easily dip the muzzle forward. That's why you see like a lot of competition guns, they have those lightning cuts to kind of eliminate that, because you want to keep the gun as flat as you can on target, so that way you can be accurate with it. So I'm pretty much, you know, stating the obvious when it comes to the competitor model here. And me personally, owning both of those guns side by side, I kind of look at it as, I look at the competitor model as, it's a race-worthy gun, don't get me wrong. But I also feel like that it could flex in a tactical role too, kind of like a Glock 34. But again, that's just my opinion. I don't know if Smith & Wesson intended for that. But if it were me, I would have no problem with carrying this as a duty gun, even with the lightning cuts in the slide. I've carried a Glock 35 as a duty gun for some years. Never had a problem with stuff getting in there. So it is definitely doable. But I know some people will feel free to disagree. That's fine. It's a free country. But anyway, one thing that I will say, like I said, there really isn't a whole, I can't say that there are things about the gun that I don't like. What I will say is that there is one thing that I would have liked. Well, actually, there are two things. There are two things that I would have liked about this gun if we could have got it out of the box. The first thing is the trigger. The trigger reset on the competitor, as well as the standard metal version, is a bit soft. You know, you can find it, you have to get used to it. It's definitely one of those ones that you got to get used to. And one thing that I have noticed with this gun, even though that I'm pretty good with it, I find myself inadvertently I would say breaking my wrist down when I'm trying to find that reset. It's almost like I'm trying to anticipate the recoil, but in my mind, I'm not thinking about the recoil at all. In my mind, I'm thinking about riding the, you know, trying to ride that trigger reset. So for me, in using this gun, I'm throwing that out the window and I'm training for that. I would rather kind of slap the trigger a little bit, just use my support hand to, you know, control the recoil more instead of like relying on the trigger. And, you know, I recently shot my rival steel frame side by side with my M&P. Spoiler alert, I'm going to do a versus video between the two guns. That's why I did that. So if you're familiar with the Canik rival, the triggers on the Canik rivals, you know how short and crisp that reset is. So going between the two guns, I found that my groupings with the metal frame competitor started to suffer a little bit, because in my mind and my body was spoiled by that Canik reset. So that's just something to, I just wanted to put that out there. That's one thing that I would have liked to have seen with this gun, you know, a better reset. Now, I did hear that Apex released a performance trigger for the M&P. So any of my real gunsmiths out there, you know, I know of a couple. I might actually get that Apex trigger for the M&P metal frame competitor, and just to see how it runs, you know, because this gun is meant to go fast. And while you can go fast with the gun as it is out of the box, it'll go a lot faster if it has a better reset. So the next thing I would have liked to have seen is higher capacity. So the Smith & Wesson is generous when they give you the 4 17-round magazines. So the 4 magazines out of the box is great. I mean, you don't have to go and source and buy extra mags, which you have to do with a lot of other guns, because, you know, you don't have to do all that. You can take this, get a holster, you got 4 mags, and you can go run with it, you know, race with it, or, you know, carry it for duty use, whatever. The thing about it is, like, just for example, we got all this dead space here. How come this couldn't be flush with the bottom of this extension and just give us extra capacity? Like, I don't get the thinking behind that. To me, it would just have made more sense to make these either 19 or 20 round magazines from the gate. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have liked that. I would have liked that. So It's nitpicky, I would admit, but you know, those are just some things that I would have liked to have seen, you know, as far as the M&P 2.0 metal frame competitor. But outside of that, the gun has been flawless. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. Out of the 1,000+ rounds that I ran through it, you know, I've ran some 115 grain, you know, full metal jacketed Tech. I've put through some 115 grain full metal jacket Venom. I've ran some hollow points through this. I've put a lot of rounds through this gun in a short period of time, and it literally ate them all. It ate them all. I'm keyholing targets at 5, 7, 10, 15 yards. It just ate it all. So as far as reliability, thus far, it gets a passing grade for me. I would definitely trust it. The other thing that I would have liked to have seen are raised sights. So now, granted, a lot of people, when they run in competitions, they basically just run with the optic. A lot of people don't co-witness too much, which is fine. You can definitely do that with this. But these sights out of the box are actually really good. And it's a bit of a shame to me that if I put a red dot on this, I can't co-witness. You know, if their optic goes down, I would like to be able to co-witness with my iron sights. And this is a good sighting setup. So it kind of goes to waste, in my opinion. So I mean, unless a company's going to come up with a QD system with a red dot for a pistol red dot, so that way if it goes down, you can just bloop, take that thing off and go back to irons. So companies, geniuses, brainiacs out there, we need that. Get on that. The operator would very much like that. But I mean, that's basically it for that, as far as, you know, a couple of things that I would have liked to have seen out of the gun. But overall, it's a really good gun. I love it. I absolutely love it. The Apex trigger upgrade may be coming in the near future, and I would definitely trust this as a duty gun or a race gun. You know, it's really good. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. So definitely, if you like today's video, please let me know by hitting that like button, leaving your comments down below, subscribe. Do you have an M&P metal frame competitor, or even the M&P metal frame standard, or any M&Ps in general? You know, let me know down in the comment section. Let's talk about it. What are your thoughts on this gun? Do you want to get this gun? We can talk about that too. And lastly, like I said before, I'm going to do a versus video between the budget-minded competition guns. We're going to have the rival steel frame. We're going to go, and it's going to go up against this beautiful Smith Wesson M&P metal frame competitor. So you do not want to miss that video, I promise you. But again, guys, gals, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and following me on this journey. This is your big homie, and I'm out. Peace.